Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the field with the North Greene Lady Husky softball team. As always, joined here with Lady Husky softball head coach Avery Weems. How's it going today?
Good. Good to see you, Tyler.
Good to be back. Good to have the Husky logo on the back. Is orange fine this week? I know you talked about the pink being too close to maroon last week. Is the orange okay?
Orange is okay, I guess.
I went to the closet and I looked, and orange was about as neutral as I could get between all of them.
Yeah, it's not quite UT orange, but
it's not quite burnt orange. People joke with me about it. I don't think it's burnt orange. It's kind of that shade between burnt and Tennessee orange. I don't know what that shade is.
Florida Gator orange.
It could be.
It could be a bandwagon from them winning it.
If it had a little more blue on it, you could say so.
Yeah.
But shout out to the Florida Gators. What did you think of the national championship game?
It was two really good teams. I was impressed by, I guess, the way Florida kind of clawed back. I watched the first half and thought that Houston dominated, and I thought, wow, they're going to be tough to come back on and beat just because Florida couldn't get in the rhythm in the first half. And UConn's the past 2 years, but
everybody's used to it.
Yeah, Houston plays such good defense though, and they rebound so hard, and I thought that was going to be tough to overcome, but Florida got it going. They're both are really good teams. I was really impressed that Houston beat Duke, just because I thought Duke was probably the best team in it.
Yeah,
and Houston got them.
It's crazy though. You talk about how dominant Auburn and Duke were all year, and Ken Palm says they were two of the best teams ever, and neither of them even get to the championship game. But that's a beautiful part about a tournament. Some people would say that a tournament format isn't the best way to determine a champion, but boy, is it fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, it's fun. But going into softball now, not too bad of a week. Played South Greene and Greenville. Didn't get the Unicoi County one in. I don't think many people even got anything in on Monday. So we'll go over those two games. Jumping into the South Greene game where you had a big win, and then the Greenville game where you had an offensive explosion. Just weren't able to overcome them and get that win. So take me through those pair of games that you played in the last week.
Yeah, so on Wednesday of last week we played South Greene at home, and South Greene solid. They were a little shorthanded that day, I think, and we had a good game offensively. We scored 15 runs, won 15-2, and I actually don't think we had that many hits. I'm gonna look here and see. I'm pretty sure it was like six. Yeah, 6 hits is what it says here. So didn't have that many hits, but our girls had some good at bats. We drew some walks, and when we got people on base, we had big hits to drive them all in and clear the bases. So that was good for our team, and good to see us kind of get going that way. And another thing too, they kind of had a tough game. I think they kicked it around the field a little bit, but I've been telling our girls, like, we're susceptible to that too. If teams hit it hard and put it in play against us, I've seen us do that too. So we can do the same thing to other teams. If we'll put it in play and make them make plays, sometimes you'll get bounces that go your way, and that's kind of what happened there. Then we were able to capitalize on some big hits. And I'm looking here. Maddie Phillips pitched that game for us. She was the winning pitcher. Maddie threw a good game. She gave up 2 runs, only walked 1, gave up 3 hits. So that was a good game for Maddie. And as a team, that was a good effort, I thought.
And then looking at the lineup, too, one player that we have to talk about the most, Josie Graham might have had her best game at the plate that she's had so far.
Definitely.
3 for 3, 5 RBIs, those 3 hits, 2 doubles, and an inside-the-park home run. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal day from her at the plate.
Yeah, she had a great game that day, and something I think about when talking about Josie's at-bats and her good game that day. If I remember right, all of her at-bats, I think, were at-bats where she had battled in the count, and she might have went to 0-2, then she fouled them off, making the pitcher make a lot of pitches, just great at-bats, and then she was able to win it with 2 strikes and deliver a big hit for us. So that was really good to see. And Josie's one of them too, like you mentioned, inside the park home run. She's really fast, and if she hits one in the gap, just watch her run. And I think that's what happened there. I think she hit it over the center fielder's head, and she's so fast, and she got all the way around before they could get it in. So that was good to see from her to have that, I guess, breakout game, you would call it.
And then moving into the Greenville game also, when you look at a 23-10 score, you think of it being maybe a lopsided beating, but when you look at it, they scored 9 in the top of the 7th, and it's a 14-10 game at that point, and obviously you probably like your chances if you can hold them scoreless right there going into the bottom half at home. But take me through that Greenville game all the way throughout and how happy you were throughout those first 6 innings.
Yeah, so in that game, Greenville they're a good team. We knew coming into the game they were going to hit it. We told the girls that, hey, they're going to hit it. We've got to hit it too, and we've got to make the plays in the field. In that game, it was kind of back and forth early on. I think they scored to start out, and then we answered them, and I think took the lead in the bottom of the first. And then I think they tacked on some more runs there in the middle innings. I think they pulled out to maybe an 8-2 lead or something like that. I can look at it here. Yeah, it looks like they jumped out 8-2, and then we answered them back, and it was I think 8-5, and we were down 8-5, and then they scored again, and then they had a big fifth inning and scored 5 more runs. And I remember going into the sixth, it was 14-6, I think, and we scored 4 more runs, I believe, to make it 14-10. It looks like, and I mean, as a coach, you feel better about that than it was before. 14-10 is way better than 14-6, and you feel like you're in striking distance for your turn in the bottom half of the seventh. And then it kind of got away from us there in the top of the seventh. We didn't get to that point. I think they had 9 runs there, you said, so. That's just what good teams do, though. You feel like you're inching back in it. You feel like you're calling to get back in the game, and then they just have a big inning and put it out of reach. So that's what we expect them to do. They're really good offensively, and we've got to be a little better on defense. We made a bunch of errors here. I'm looking right now. It says 7 errors, so we really hurt ourselves there. We didn't help our pitchers out any. And good teams just make you pay when you do that. If you make errors, they're going to put a bunch of runs on the board. And I think there was 6 combined home runs in that game. I can look here. I know we hit 2. I think, they hit 4 home runs. So, I mean, it was just the ball was flying, and there was a lot of combined hits there. I think Greenville had 19 hits. We had 10.
A lot of extra base hits, I think.
Yeah.
9 doubles, triple also. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was just a lot of them were hard hit balls. Like I said, we made the errors, but they were hitting it. They were putting it in the gap. They hit those home runs, hitting line drives. They hit several extra base hits down the third base line. I remember. So they were hitting it, and they were making it hard on us. And that's what good teams do.
And then those were the only 2 varsity games you had, but you had one scheduled with Unicoi County on Monday, of course. I don't know if many players or many teams even got to play on Monday with the rain. Is there any update on that game with Unicoi County as of right now?
We don't have a make-up date yet. We'd certainly like to get that game in, but just looking at our schedule, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
We play each of the remaining weeks after this week. We play 4 games each week: Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday each week. I know that the county doesn't like us playing on Wednesdays, and we don't either. We know it's a church night for a lot of people, so we try to avoid that. And then the weekend games are hard too because they might be in a tournament. I know we're in the Tiny Day tournament this weekend, so it's hard to make those weekend games work for both teams, especially on weeks that you're already playing 4 games. No one wants to tack on extra and stress your pitching out that much more in a single week unless you just have to. I mentioned too that their district tournament starts earlier than ours, so we had some built-in make-up days there that they just don't work for both teams. They work for us, but their district tournament's going, so that won't work for them. But
looking past that too, you had some JV action this weekend also. We usually don't get to touch on JV much. It's usually only varsity. So for a rare moment, let's talk about some JV action and what went on over the weekend.
All right, so we played in this JV tournament this weekend in Greenville, and I was, as a whole, really pleased with how it went. I think we went 3-1. We opened up the day against Greenville, and I think we beat them 6-3. I think after that marathon game the night before against them, and we played Westridge. I think the second game. I think Westridge beat us 4-3. They were a good JV squad. They had, I think, 18 girls is what we counted there. So they were a big bunch, and they were a formidable bunch. They hit it well, and we lost a close one to them. And then I think we rounded out the day. We can't remember who our third game was there. I can look real quick.
It says Greenville twice.
That is right. We played Greenville again in the first game of bracket play. I think we beat them 5 or 6-1. Another good showing there. I think Hannah Brooks pitched that and pitched well. And then the finale was we played South Greene in the championship game of that, I guess, and we beat South Greene in a close one 4-3. But it was really good to see some of our younger girls get some action there, and some of the ones that I guess hadn't had all the varsity experience yet get to see it there. And they had some good moments. They had some plays in the field they made, some good at bats, and I thought our pitching overall was pretty good in that tournament. I know Charlie Turnmeyer won 2 games. Hannah Brooks and Kennedy Malone both had moments there where they pitched well too. So that was really good to see all around.
It's good to get some JV action in on this show.
Yeah.
JV usually doesn't get talked about enough, so shout out to them, little JV tournament champions. But we'll go ahead and cut into the break. You got a packed schedule ahead. I mean, jam-packed I don't think does it enough justice. You've got, I think, seven scheduled games in a certain amount of days, plus tournament play with the Tiny Day tournament coming up. So stay tuned, stick with us. We'll talk about that right after this break here on Grassroots Media.
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're invested in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of North Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, presented by Starnes Barber, where we cover everything on the diamond with the North Greene Lady Husky softball team. As always, I'm joined here with softball head coach Avery Weems. So if you can, go ahead and tell us the schedule ahead, because my oh my, do you have a lot of games. You've got West Greene at home Thursday at 5. You've got the Tiny Day tournament where we have Daniel Boone and Sullivan East Friday at 4:30 and 8:15. Then on Saturday, you've got Jeff County 11:15, Morristown East immediately following at 12:30. You've got bracket play on Sunday. Then Monday, you return home for a conference game with Unaka at 5. And then Tuesday at home again with University High at 5 o'clock. So give me a rundown of what's ahead for the Lady Huskies.
All right, so you mentioned on Thursday we host West Greene at home, so we're fired up about that. We love any chance to play against the county teams. Just, it means a little more, a little special there. So we've got that big one on Thursday. And then on Friday, you said we got Daniel Boone, first pool play game of the Tiny Day. I don't know a whole lot about their team this year, but I know that historically they're, one of the best programs around. So I know they'll be a good team. I know that we'll have our hands full there, so we'll have to come and bring our best to have a chance in that one. So we know what's ahead of us there. And we've got Sullivan East later that night. I don't know anything about Sullivan East. I know they're a bigger school. I know that I'm sure they'll also be a formidable opponent to where we'll have to play good against them also to have a chance to win. And then on Saturday too, just on the big school theme here, I guess we play Morristown East and Jeff County. I'm not sure in what order there, but I'm sure both of them will also be solid teams. So that's kind of what we got planned out for the Tiny Day. We don't know what Sunday holds in store with the bracket play, but that'll depend on how it goes in the pool play games. So we certainly hope to have, I guess, a good showing in those pool play games, and then just to hopefully be competitive and win our bracket on Sunday. So that's kind of what we're looking forward here to. And I mentioned earlier that's going to really test our pitching because we've got so many games in such a short span there. And then even after that tournament, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any easier. We play Unaka on Monday, and Unaka is always a good team. They're a good program, and it's a conference game for us, so that's really important. We've got to make sure that we're ready to play that day. And then on Tuesday we play University High, who we've already played once, so we know we've got to come to play that day as well.
Looking throughout the softball schedules, it always seems like it falls like this too, where the schedule is just jam-packed in the month of April. I know the month of March is weird because a lot of teams, I know you mentioned it last week, you like to kind of schedule your games, the beginning of your schedule later to get some of those basketball girls in, and then you have spring break that you have to schedule around too. But you jump into April right here, man. You've got, how many is it? 5, 7, plus the pool play games. You've got 7+ games in a 6-day period. You take a day off on Wednesday, and you've got Cloudland and Chucky Doak back-to-back on Thursday and Friday. So it doesn't get, like you said, it doesn't really get any easier from here on out. But how much do you think that prepares you for tournament time once it hits May?
Oh, it does, because in your postseason, especially, your district tournament, you're playing back-to-back days, and then once the region tournament starts, you may get a day off in that region tournament. But still, though, it's a lot of games consecutively, and it's nice to prepare for that now. And it also, too, at the same time, it gets in those games where you play so many games in such a short stretch, and you may have to rotate your pitching, or you may have to rotate your different positions there to make sure that you're, I guess, best positioned in each game. So that kind of puts you in some different spots, and it gives girls some reps in maybe some spots that they're not accustomed to. And I think that's always good going forward too. That way, if you have to put somebody in position come tournament time, they've probably played that before, and they've had game experience in some of these different spots. And I just think it's a lot of good to expose your team to that early on.
Last question I'll have for you also is, you've experienced the Tiny Day tournament before, whether it be as a fan or as an assistant coach. This is your first time as a head coach experiencing the Tiny Day tournament. I guess 2 questions in one part. How much do you enjoy the Tiny Day tournament and the atmosphere, and how much are you looking forward to coaching in it for the first time? Oh,
we definitely look forward to it. It's a great tournament. I know year in and year out there's great teams in it. There's always good competition there. And you hear people talk about for a tournament, we got a good draw, we got a bad draw. There really are no easy draws in the Tiny Day.
Yeah.
There's so many good teams in it where you're going to have to play those good teams at some point or another. So it is what it is, and that's what you expect when you sign up for that tournament. So that's good for us to get that experience playing against those good teams, and I'm very excited to coach in it. I'm excited to see what our girls can do. I think they are hopefully excited to play in it. I think they are, and hopefully we'll come ready to play and have a good showing.
All right, man. Best of luck in it. Hopefully the next time we sit down, we got a whole lot of wins to talk about, because you got a whole lot of games from now until the next time we sit down. But until then, best of luck. Hopefully get some sleep, and hopefully stay healthy through it all, because that's one of the main things in sports. But appreciate you once again, Coach. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company Avery Weems Show, presented by Starnes Barbershop. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Are you?